If you're struggling to scale your business profitably and as fast as possible, then you're going to want to watch every single part of this video because we're going to break down a real store and the plan we've put in place to grow this business literally as fast as possible without them losing any money at all, and also growing on a weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. We're going to spreadsheet everything. We're going to use real Shopify data, real cohort analysis, break it down into a legitimate model that you can copy, everything based on real data. Let's hop right in. Before we started this video, I basically just built out a framework that we're going to follow. Really, we're just going to get basic information from your Shopify store. We're going to get cohort analysis from your Shopify store, and then we're going to throw it all into a model that really just focuses on 1 month, but then we could bake it out into as many months, as many years as we really want. This is not e-commerce specific. This literally applies to growing any business. First, just grab this basic information right from our Shopify dashboard. And for this, we could just click on analytics. We could change the date range to the last 12 months. You could see this business did around $900,000 in sales. For our cost of goods, I know that this business operates at a 65% profit margin. Now you're going to have to calculate that for yourself. So how you can do this is basically just write down your revenue number here, write down your total cost of goods number right here. So in this case, I'm doing it just a little bit opposite because I know how this business operates. They operate at a 65% margin, which means their cost of goods are equal to 900,000 times 1 minus the margin, aka 35%. So they operated at $900,000 revenue, costing them $315,000 in cost of goods for a 65% profit margin, which means their actual profit is the $900,000 minus the $315,000 cost of goods. Next piece we're going to grab is how many orders happened in the last 12 months. So we can grab this right from Shopify. See, our order number is 6,595. Then for average order value, we are simply taking our total revenue divided by our total orders, which is $137. Our profit per order, so this is going to be a key metric for this entire analysis. So all we have to do is take our profit divided by orders to get ourselves a profit per order of $89. This is the most core information we need. The next report we're going to grab is our customer cohort analysis. You need to pull a full year of data here. So you can't just use the last 12 months. That's not going to give you an accurate representation of what each month is going to look like. You actually need to grab the previous full year. So for our sake here, we're going to use all of 2022 because it's a complete year, and the following 2023 is also a complete year. We can get crafty and we could use parts of 2023 into 2024, but basically 2022 is going to be the cleanest data that we could have here. Keep in mind, you need the whole thing to check out, meaning you need this bottom right corner number to be fulfilled. On the right side, you're going to change retention rate to amount spent per customer. What we're going to notice here is our first order value is $117. So we're going to grab that. We're going to put our first order value into a new column that I just made here, and we're going to write 117 here. We're then going to take our 1 year value, which is actually going to be this customer of 173. That's our average of all cohorts, how much that customer spent over the course of the year, including their first order. That at 173 is here. We want to derive a multiple from this. We're going to take 173 divided by the 117, which gets us a multiple of 1.48. We're then just going to take this, we're going to hard code it right into here. So we have this full number into the multiple on the 1 year value. What this multiple is, we're saying that on the very first order, the customer is worth $117. By the time a year ends, on average, they're worth 1.48 times more than their first order value. We'll just say 1.5 to keep this easy. If a customer spends $100 with us, by the end of the year, they'll be worth 1.5 times 150 bucks. So they'll net us back an additional $50 in extra money that we didn't have to acquire them for. What does this mean in terms of our actual values? Because we're using 2022 data, so we have to be a little careful. We know that our average order values may differ, our product lines may differ, our velocity may differ. There's a lot of things going on here that could change. So we just wanted to get the multiple from 2022. That's the most important thing. And if you want to fact check yourself, you want to be really certain about this, what you can do is take the previous full year and do the exact same equation. So if we grab 2021 and we'll do the same thing, 118 and 185. So we get 118, 185. What's our new multiple? 1.57. And then to be ultra safe, what I'm going to do here is grab the last 12 months, and I'm only able to take March's single cohort here because it's the only one that actually has shown the full value in. We have 120 or 119 driving to 281. That's a huge difference in these two cohorts. I don't want to skew our results, so I want to play on the conservative side, which in this case is 1.48. We're going to use 1.48. We need to make that an actual order value. So we're going to take average order value of 137. We're going to multiply it by the multiple to get 202. This literally just means we had this minus this. We gained $65 after the first year was done compared to the very first order. We're not even going to do 2-year value. I really just want to show you all the clear 1-year value, which is the most important thing that you could drive your business towards. And now we're going to paste this into a model to show you actually the fastest way that you could possibly grow your business. These two buckets are variable. Everything here is going to be all formula based after that. So for revenue, we're going to do equals new customers multiplied by average order value, which is going to be our new customer revenue. And then for profit, we are literally going to take revenue times our margin. Our true profit is going to be this number, our profit, minus our ad spend. Our 1-year revenue is then going to be our revenue multiplied by our multiple, 1.48. Our 1-year profit is going to be this number multiplied again by the margin. And then our 1-year true profit is going to be profit minus spend. So all zeros for now, but you're going to see how very quickly this completely fluctuates based on the amount of new customers that we have here. One new customer for us provides $137 in revenue on average, which drives $89 profit. That true profit is $89 because we're assuming $0 in ad spend. In 1 year, they're worth $202. In 1 year, their profit, because we were netting the cost of goods here, is worth $131. And their true profit, because we have 0 ad spend, is $131 as well. The key here is understanding how much we are able to spend per new customer acquisition. Everything I've just talked about so far literally boils down to how much can we spend on one customer acquisition. I'm going to operate under the assumption that you could break even on your very first customer acquired. This means that you will make $0 when they transact with you. You won't lose $1, you will just make 0, or better yet, you'll make 1 penny. You want to make all your money on the second purchase and thereafter. And this model is going to prove why that's so much more effective than just trying to make extra dollars on the first customer purchase. Profitably, this brand right here could make around $89 per order per new customer acquired. So what this means to me is on a spend level, however many customers we acquire is going to be based on an $89 profit per order. So we could literally just take new customers, multiply by profit per order, and get ourselves an 89. This has no accounting for how much you could spend or increase your spend if you play at this level. This is literally just break even. This is lower your ROAS, lower your CAC to the most critical point where you're just breaking even. Let's just say we spent $8,874 to acquire 100 customers for this business. If we acquire 100 customers for this business, it costs us $8,874. We make in revenue $13,653. We make in profit $8,874. Our true profit is dead zero because net the ad spend, we're at zero. Our 1 year revenue is $20,000 once we apply those multiples. Our profit's $13,000. Our 1 year true profit is $4,248. This number right here is why this all starts to work out, because if you do this model and cohort analysis properly, you're able to spend money a year ahead of time at a very high rate, $89, and acquire customers rapidly for that amount of money. And you know with confidence, if your cohort analysis is correct, and I'd recommend being conservative here, you know with confidence that you can go on this multiple of the 1.48 to make a 1 year true profit of $4,248 by acquiring these 100 customers. Let me just quickly break down what this would look like if you were not shooting for an $89 profit per order, rather if you were not breaking even, right? If you wanted to make something like 30% on your first order, you would have to reduce your spend so significantly because you're giving yourself less room. Let me just think about it this way. If you've run ads before, you know what your baseline return on ad spend is. Let's say your baseline is 2. Pretty much most of the time you get a 2x return on ad spend. How hard is it for you to double your spend at that 2? It should be extremely hard for you to just straight up double your ad spend. So instead what you have to do is you have to say, all right, what happens if I can get to a 1.75? You might be able to double your ad spend at a 1.75 multiple. So meaning we're only losing 12% efficiency in our return on ad spend, but we're gaining potentially double the acquisitions, double the customers. So I just added a row here, and let's pretend that you were actually trying to acquire customers for a significantly cheaper price, and therefore you were slowing down your velocity by a ton. Instead of acquiring 100 customers, let's say you were only able to acquire 50 customers, but you were able to do so at, instead of an $89 profit per order, you were able to do so at a $75 profit per order. We're able to spend substantially less money. You only acquired half the amount of customers, only 50 customers. Your revenue looks worse. Your profit looks worse. Your true profit looks a little bit better. Your 1 year true profit is nearly half of what it would have been if you just implemented a strategy that actually didn't make you money up front. So you're really just focused on acquiring as many customers as possible and saving their gains for a year from now. You could model this out 101 different ways. The easiest way to model this out, if you really want to understand what could we do, is figure out what's your cost per acquisition now, what's your rate of acquisition, and then just change this number. So go from 75 to see what would happen if I spent 90 per customer. What would happen if I spent 30 per customer to only acquire 15? You could really fluctuate these spends, but you have to keep in mind how many customers you think you're going to also acquire during this time to keep this as simple as possible. You basically can't put yourself in a scenario unless something happens where you completely run out of inventory or your product goes bad, something along those lines. But generally speaking, if you have a consistent business that you've relied on for quite some time, there is no reason that your cohort analysis will fail. Barring another world event, you are pretty locked in to your cohort analysis. Keep it conservative, and this is absolutely the quickest way to grow your business. If this is something that you think you need managed for you and you need media buyers who actually understand this, if you're spending over $30,000 in ads right now, apply at themoonlighters.co. We're happy to check it out. This is something we do for every single client we work with. We'll be hand in hand along with this process. If you're under $30,000 in revenue, grind at this. Keep implementing these kinds of models into your business and then hit us up when you're ready. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was super helpful.